back, folks, to the Mel Wright Show. It's episode 148. We've got a great guest here, Ryan Cote. Ryan, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, thanks, Jonathan. Happy to be here. Yeah, so my name is Ryan Cote, and my company is Ballantine. We're based out of Fairfield, New Jersey. We are a family-owned business. I'm third generation. My grandfather started the company in the mid-'60s, and now myself, my two brothers, and my uncle are partners in the business. And in terms of what we do, we offer both direct mail marketing services as well as digital marketing services.
It's a great blend, and some of the areas we're going to be discussing during the show, folks, is direct mail, how you can combine that with online marketing. We're also going to be discussing paid advertising through Google AdWords. We're going to have a little bit of sprinkling around SEO and a little bit about Facebook. So it's going to be a fantastic discussion. I'm really looking forward to this. So, Ryan, also, I also forgot my co-host. I apologise, Robert. Robert, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm the founder of Inbound REM. I'm a real estate marketing consultant. If anybody's interested, they can always go to Inbound REM, but I mostly do the show to expand my knowledge. And I'm really looking forward to talking to a direct mail aficionado. That's not actually something that we tackle too often. So this is a treat for us.
That's great. And Robert's got some great articles on his, some great reviews and articles on his website. And I highly recommend that you go to Robert's and have a feast about everything real estate on his website. So Ryan, you know, I'm a great believer in combining different marketing system services, and I do not dismiss direct mail at all, because I think in the, you know, your company, you do service a little bit the real estate, but it's not your real market. But I thought we would have you on because you got, like you say, you've got 3 generations, you've mixed digital with traditional. Where do you see direct mail, and also, can you give some insights where you have seen it work recently?
Yes, I mean, the combination of print and digital, I think it's important, just because, you know, think about multiple touch points. So, you know, it's very rare that, you know, you make the sale or generate the lead based on one touch point. It requires multiple touch points. And, you know, I know that, you know, digital is obviously very big and it's growing, but print is still a very important piece of the marketing pie. You know, you think about the competition you have in your inbox for your email or your Facebook feed, for example, and you think about the competition you have in your mailbox. There's very little competition in the mailbox. So the blend of the two, both print and digital, is important because you're reaching people in their inboxes with digital, and their feeds with social media advertising, and then you're reaching people in their mailbox with print marketing. So it's kind of covering all the bases. You're increasing the touch points, and that's what we find to be very effective, is blending those two together. You know, and yes, direct mail is more expensive when you consider the print and the mail and the postage. But the actual format that you use does not need to be expensive. You know, postcards can be very efficient, very cost efficient. And you're still getting that mail piece, that physical piece of mail in their hands. And then one way you can also, you know, seamlessly blend the two, just using Facebook as an example. You know, you're sending out a postcard and you're buying that mailing list of, you know, people in the geo that you're servicing, what have you. And then you're taking that list and you're uploading it to Facebook. And, you know, so the person's getting your postcard and they're also getting your Facebook ads in their feed. And that's like kind of like a 1-2 punch. It can be very effective.
Yeah, I just want to quantify that to the listeners. What Ryan's talking about is retargeting. So the only thing you've got to keep in mind, folks, is that the email address that be on your list that you're utilizing for your direct marketing, for the Facebook advert to show, has to be the same email address that they signed up with Facebook.
Right.
But if the list is, you know, it will help, and retargeting keeps the cost down, and it being that you should be multiply touching these people, they should become more receptive to what is called a totally cold audience. So you got any kind of recent clients that you thought that was doing direct marketing in a really effective way that you've worked with?
Okay, so this is not a it's not a realtor, but I think the example still applies to your audience. We have, and I can't give specific numbers, but I just want to explain the strategy,
the process, the process, what you thought they were doing well. Yeah,
exactly. So we have a client; they're a small business, a manufacturer, and they're using us for paid advertising, some search engine optimization, and content. And our job is to help them sell more of their products off their website. And they have different sales channels, but one of them is their website. And so we're doing paid advertising, SEO, and then the content marketing. And then we also threw indirect mail into the mix, but it wasn't a one-shot campaign. We came up with a series of 4 mail pieces, and they were different formats. Like one was a postcard, one was a self-mailer, just different formats. The messaging was pretty much the same. It was just the presentation was a little bit different. And we set those mail pieces out, I think it was 6 weeks apart. So there was some time in between. And while these were going out, the digital was still running. And so the digital was running, and then they were getting these mail pieces 6 weeks apart, varying in the formats. And it was very effective. We saw an increase in sales. We were using a coupon code and tracking their sales. And that was an effective campaign for them.
Give us an estimate on cost for that or any campaign. Just give us a ballpark. I don't want to tie you down to anything, but if somebody was interested in, let's say, pursuing that, what, because most of our clients are going to are familiar with digital. And you got your PPC expense or your Facebook marketing expense, but I know of very few real estate people that are still familiar with what direct mail would cost.
So I will give you a very rough number, and this is a very rough number because it depends on the format and the quantity and how much you're paying for creative. But you can figure on about $1 per piece when you factor in all the different costs, creative and postage and print.
The average real estate professional services a city that has usually somewhere between 1 and 5,000 households, and then obviously there are some that expand out to more than that, but. You could like total numbers, even though here in LA we get a very distorted view, but most of my clients don't work in LA. They work in Austin or other places, and then they don't even work all of Austin. They work a single neighborhood, or they work a couple of cities inside that neighborhood. At max, you're usually talking about 10 or 15,000 households max.
Yep.
So how is that? Does that still play into direct mail? Can anybody use it, or would you be constrained by the numbers if they were seeking a specific city that wasn't, let's say, a couple 100,000 people big?
No, I think the smaller numbers are fine. I mean, the more focus you can get, the better. The blanket saturated mailings don't work as well. So the more focus, it's like Facebook advertising, like Jonathan knows, the more focus you get with your targeting, generally the better results you're going to get. So it's the same thing with direct mail. If you've got your database, or if you're buying a database, maybe a compile list, you want to know exactly who you're servicing best, and then go real laser focus on that audience. And 10 to 15,000, that's a perfectly acceptable. I would say generally when our clients are testing, they're not testing anything less than like 5,000 pieces, because it's hard to measure anything. It's hard to measure a campaign on anything less than that. You don't know if what you're seeing is significantly relevant, and so anything less than 5,000, it's really hard to measure results.
All right. So for our clients that might be sitting in a city that has less than 5,000 households, maybe direct mail might not be the best way to tackle. But anybody that is, they might be able to use direct mail on top of, which, by the way, for the handful of people that tune into me and actually pay attention to what I say, I am a big fan of. This is an old guy. There's a sales guy whose name will come to me, but I was learning sales 30 years ago. Okay. And one of the sales trainers that I constantly read always said that there was a 5-touch mechanism in terms of the way that you work a prospect. They must see or be touched 5 different times. And this particular is Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy used to say that you'd have to touch them in various ways. So can't just call them 5 times. you could, but his experience showed that 5 different touches were oftentimes yield the best results. And what he meant by that was like a door knock or mailer, because this is the days before the internet when I was studying Brian Tracy, or phone call, and these would each be a different touch. I still subscribe to that, whether it's the digital realm or it's the direct mail realm. My own experience is that a lot of these touches can be applied digitally, but I don't disagree with anything anybody said in terms of getting a piece of mail in the mailbox. If you have a larger budget or you're working with a small team inside real estate, I wouldn't discard digital or direct mail out of hand. And if you're working with a highly focused market, which some of our clients are, like real specific, then I would strongly recommend direct mail on top of everything else that you're doing, because you'd probably be the only person sending it.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, just sorry to interrupt. It's just that there's 2 specific areas where I think agents should really look at direct mail. It's, I think you should organise. You should really aim your marketing at Pacific communities, and then organise community events if you can, and get, instead of pushing out, you're getting your client base coming to you at this event. This is a great way of using direct mail to advertise that event, an event that you might hold twice a year in a Pacific community, aimed at families, aimed at your target audience. Another circumstance is around medium to higher price properties, around open houses, and really having a organised campaign of online and using direct mail to market that open house. The purpose is not to, like we have said in previous episodes, the purpose of this is a branding, marketing, and a database list building exercise. This is why you're doing the 2 things that I mentioned. What do you reckon, Ryan? What do you think of that?
I think that's, you mentioned branding. It actually made me think of something that, to tie back to also Robert's comment before about less than 5,000, a list of less than 5,000. What you can do when you're dealing with smaller quantities like that, you can look at lumpy mail with a branding twist. So just one thought that came to my mind is, and the reason why it's doable on 10 to 15,000, but just the cost becomes a little bit cost prohibitive when you're talking about larger quantities. Okay. When you've got a smaller list, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever it is, you could do lumpy mail. So for example, you can send out an envelope with maybe like a branded calendar of some sort, or magnet. And so they get this envelope, and it's lumpy because there's something in it. And the open rate on that kind of mail is typically very high because there's something in it. They want to see what's in it, and they open it, and then they've got like your picture on there and some information about the local community, obviously your website and your phone number, and hopefully they put it on their refrigerator and call you when the time is right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's all sorts of creative ways you can do this. Another methodology is to actually have the envelope, send them an envelope and have the envelope handwritten. So that increases rates of open. There's all different twists, but it's really important to go to a specialist that has a lot of experience in direct mail. They can advise you on this, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
We're going to go for our break, folks. When we come back, we're going to delve into some other areas about how to market yourself and get some really quality leads. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. We've had a feast about direct mail. On to another subject, using Google and using Google AdWords to actually promote your business, your website. And you said something I thought was really important that's linked to this, about why agents need their own website and not rely on something that the broker. Would you like to delve into a bit of that, Ryan?
Yeah, you want me to start with the website first, or the Google AdWords?
Sure, because I think it leads into the AdWords in a way, doesn't it?
It does. And Robert, I know you're an SEO expert, so jump in. But basically, what I'll see often is realtors look at a website from the broker, and it's not on their own domain name, which is domain name meaning like xyz.com versus jonathan.remax.com or whatever. You want your own website. You want your own website because it's going to be something that you control. It's your asset. It's much easier to rank in Google your own website because you can control the SEO on the site, the keywords and what have you. And also it gives you the opportunity to create your own content for the website. So for example, maybe you have a series of things about the local community and position yourselves as the local expert, the local real estate expert, restaurants and, information at the schools and what have you. And when you have all that unique content and it's your content and it's going on your own website, your own domain, it's your asset and it's easier to rank that in Google. Robert, is there anything you'd add to that?
Well, in the real estate space specifically, I wouldn't necessarily say, I agree with everything you're saying. Let's start there. So you will never, ever find somebody who's more evangelical about owning your own website in any business really, but specifically and most especially for real estate, because it is so rare that anybody does. And all the marketing value in real estate is most of the time being transferred to the marketing companies as opposed to somebody gaining control of it. So I agree with you. The one thing I want to throw out there is that there are some real estate marketing companies that have gotten very good at creating template sites that rank better than a site that you're just going to build yourself and put on the web. You'd need somebody. It's pretty rare that the handful of custom real estate website developers that are out there build a website that does as well as some of these out-of-the-box solutions. That doesn't mean you shouldn't own your own website, because you should. You should just be aware of the fact that, like, if anything, maybe look at some of the things that other people are doing, figure out how to measure success, and then copy them. Like it's not, don't try to reinvent the wheel just because you own it. Just that would be my comment.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. And so then tying that into Google AdWords, you need a good website. So Google AdWords is pay-per-click. You're bidding on keywords and then you're driving traffic. So homes for sale in San Diego or what have you. You're bidding on keywords. When someone clicks on that ad, you pay. And, it's gotten a lot more expensive. But what I like about Google AdWords, or really any type of Bing advertising as well, it's you have a lot of control over the campaigns. You have a lot of flexibility. Robert, as you know, SEO takes time and we're at the mercy of Google and all their algorithm updates. Still very effective, very, very effective. With Google, it's amazing when you're paying them, you have a lot more flexibility and the traffic is immediate and you can set up campaigns. Like, let's say you wanted to focus on just homes for sale in Los Angeles, but you have a campaign for homes for sale in San Diego. You could turn on and off the campaigns based on what you're looking to push. And so, but for Google AdWords, it's a lot of it's based on quality scores. So you need to have a strong quality score to get a good cost per click. And quality score is just Google's measurement of how good your website is, like where you're sending that traffic to. They assign that page a quality score, and you want that quality score to be high. And so you have to have, you can send traffic to a branded broker page, but typically you're sending it to a landing page or a page on your site that's highly relevant for the keywords that you're bidding on. And so it comes back to, so Google AdWords, you need to have a strong website to be the most effective, And so that's why they're kind of tied together. But Google AdWords, it's immediate. The traffic is immediate. You have a lot of control over what keywords you're bidding on. And, we love using it. We do a lot of it here.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was just going to ask, so what do you feel like the most dramatic or impressive marketing lesson that you've learned, Ryan, in terms of AdWords? We all have those aha moments. Did you have any for PPC or anything that even comes close to it that you could share?
Yeah, I do actually. It's for an insurance client of ours. I'm trying to think of how I could tie this back to your audience, and I think I can, but
no, you've done it. Okay. Just an insurance client, but what was the aha moment?
So the aha moment is that they have a lot of personal lines, business lines, and they have specialty lines. And, we started off broad with them with doing pay-per-click for all the different personal lines and the business lines and the specialty lines. And it became very clear to us that one specialty line in particular, for whatever reason, the pay-per-click was converting like crazy. And so what we did was we just shut off every other campaign except for a couple other ones that were sort of had potential, and focused on that one particular specialty. And for the last 2 years now, it's consistently driven leads for this client for that particular specialty. So maybe with real estate agents, it's focusing like what communities are you doing best in, and then you're bidding on keywords that that are targeting that community. Right. Or just running ads with Google AdWords. You can specify like what geo you want to advertising. So if someone's only searching for within a certain mile or radius of a zip code, they only see your ads. So maybe you only specify that geo for that community that you service best. So that's how I think, based on that insurance client, how your audience can use that.
And I'm just going to paraphrase, and then John, I'm going to kick it over to you because I know that you had something you wanted to share. But I'm just going to say that what I heard you say and what I agree with in terms of PPC is that it does allow you to do multivariate testing in the immediacy. In other words, you're absolutely right. Organic is painfully slow, like SEO. And everybody who goes to my blog understands I'm evangelical about it, but it confuses people because you would think that I don't think there's a place for other stuff. And there very much is, and you just brought up a big one. If you want to get a result and understand what keywords might be viable, you don't want to wait a year or 6 months. You want to find that out right now. And you just described a case study very beautifully, where the case study is we had 4 different verticals that were, I'm just guessing, I'm making it up, but we had a number of different things we were testing. We discovered one that was working very well, and then we pursued it. If I was the organic guy, on the marketing team, I would then say, well, it's great that we did all the testing. Let's do the organic for the thing that's really working and leave the rest alone. And we wouldn't have known that without the PPC being in place and getting those results.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're right. It's you can run the pay-per-click campaigns, find out which keywords are the most effective, and then roll that over to a SEO plan, whether it's content or pages that you need to create in your site to rank organically. They're very yin and yang.
Yeah. I just got a quick observation and then a follow-through question. I think, folks, what you also got to realise with Google AdWords, it's intent. It's intent specific, and what I mean by that is there is a big difference between Google and Facebook. Like I say, the people that are going to use Google, they got a need, a want. They're looking for something, a specific.
Yeah.
Where with Facebook, it's disruptive advertising. You don't go to Facebook with a need or want. You go there to find out cute pictures about cats or what your neighbours are doing, what's going on in your local community or nationally. And the advertisement is disruptive. It's basically through their knowledge of people on Facebook, they show advertisement to, if it's been set up correctly, that has shown online signals that they would be interested in your disruptive advertisement. They're very two different animals, very similar, but you got to be aware of that fundamental difference. The other thing is, the other question I was going to ask you, Ryan, is do you got any knowledge around using YouTube paid advertisement? Have you delved into the world of YouTube and paid advertisement as well?
We have, yeah. It's predominantly we're doing Google AdWords, keyword searches and remarketing or retargeting, whatever you want to call it. We have run some YouTube advertising. It's if you have good videos, it can be very effective. And we, for the type of clients that we service now, we do less of it. In the past, we've had some big toy brands that we've worked with where it was a big part of their marketing strategy because they were just looking for that brand awareness, just saturating their videos all over YouTube. But for the small businesses that we service now, we do less of it. But
because I think that's probably the key problem, isn't it? Is that, brand awareness, but to actually get them to actually click on something and then go off YouTube. I haven't seen the recent, but to me, people on YouTube are there. Or am I incorrect? Do you think that getting them to click on a link in the YouTube and then go off is difficult?
we were not as successful with when we were running the video ads on YouTube and even on Facebook as well. As you know, running video ads on Facebook can be very effective, but it just depends. Like our objective was just to get the views. The client just it was like a commercial essentially.
Yeah.
They wanted the views. We weren't seeing as much traffic to their website. It also wasn't a goal of theirs. But even when we run Facebook ads, video ads, we get a lot of views. We see less clicks over to the website, but it's also not really the objective. The objective is to get the view. So that's what we're seeing.
Right. Got a question, Robert?
Nope. Just agreeing. Just nodding. I don't have. I have never actually. I think I've spent $100 on YouTube advertising, and it was for myself. It was not for a client. So I have an unbelievably low threshold of knowledge when it comes to YouTube. Now, if you were talking about organic or creating YouTube videos, obviously that is one of the cornerstones of my marketplace in terms of how I promote my own business. So I'm a huge fan and believer in video. Don't get me on my soapbox for this particular call because we all haven't agreed to talk about it, but I'm just going to say video, yay. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Right. I think we're going to wrap it up for the podcast part of the show. There's Ryan's agreed to stay on for a little while, which will be bonus content, folks, which you'll be able to see on the Mailrite website and YouTube channel. So, Ryan, how can people find out more about you and your company and what you're up to?
Thanks, Jonathan and Robert. So we created a special page for your audience. They can view it it's ballantine.com /mailrite. And Ballantine is spelled B as in Bob, ALLANTINE.com /mailrite. And on there's a couple of offers, one being a free digital analysis via video. So we actually do a screencast and kind of give you a walkthrough of just some advice around your website and marketing, digital marketing.
Oh, that's great. Thanks. And Robert, how can people find out more about you and what you're up to, Robert?
I love this part of the show. As always, just go to, if you're watching, the brim of my hat, inboundrem.com. And if you're not watching, if you're just listening and you're feeling wild and crazy, you can go to inboundrem.com and you can actually download some of the podcasts. I have gotten proactive about uploading our old episodes. I'm very excited about it.
Oh, thanks for that. And like I say, like what was just said, you can also go to the Mailrite website. There's a library, almost 140 interviews with show notes and links. It's literally a course in its own right about if you want to learn how to market your real estate business effectively in 2018. I think you should look at some of those past episodes, watch the guests. We've had some fantastic guests like Ryan that's given great tips and insights about the possibility of marketing your real estate business and getting the kind of quality leads that you're looking for. Like I say, we're going to close the audio part of the show now. And like I say, you'll be able to watch a continuance of our interview, Ryan, on the website and on our YouTube channel. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye. Right, Ryan. So when it comes, so you were discussing the page that the Google AdWord goes to, but what about if they are traditional landing pages with lead magnets? Does that deteriorate what you just said, or does Google look at the whole authority of the domain?
You can definitely still use landing pages. We've used lead pages before. It's just a matter of having sufficient content on the page needs to be ultra relevant to the keywords that you're bidding on. And so, as long as you have control over the page and you can, it has sufficient amount of content, the metadata is optimized for those keywords. That's fine. It's just a matter of being able to control the page where you're sending traffic to. And so you have control over the optimization of it, how many keywords it has in it, how relevant it is to the keywords you're bidding on. That's the most important thing. But yeah, landing page is fine.
And the kind of audience size, because I'm a great believer in finding either groups in your community, like people moving. Let's say, let's take Reno for example. You could specialize in relocation. You could actually advertise in certain areas outside of Northern Nevada where a lot of people are moving into Northern Nevada from. So you could pitch yourself as as that agent that helps people that are moving in, or older people that are looking to downsize, or you could pitch yourself in Pacific areas in the Reno, Northern Nevada area. But do you really, for the kind of paid advertising, do you need to get this bit right about who your target audience and really understanding their wants and needs?
I think that'd be more for the copy and the landing page, definitely for what you do with the Facebook advertising, obviously. But for the keywords, there might be some keywords around those niches that you're describing, but it's probably less of a focus. It's more about the content, like when you're the copy in your text ad. Make sure you're getting the relevant clicks. We have some clients that will put that want us to put like the price in the ad just to really qualify the click. So in your case with like a realtor, maybe it's identifying who exactly you service best, and then speaking to that person in the text ad. So if you're getting that click, that person has already sort of qualified themselves as being in that audience.
Yeah, I found that Google AdWords, the people I've worked with that have been utilising it, it's pretty effective if you set it all up correctly about getting seller leads. No, buyer, sorry. I got mixed up there, buyer, sorry.
You can be both.
Yeah, you can.
Technically.
Yep. So what is for your kind of local clients around this, what are kind of realistic budgets for Google AdWords campaigns that you've run for smaller businesses?
We're seeing clicks of around, of course, I'm going to just say it varies obviously, but we're seeing clicks anywhere from like $3 to $5. We have some that are a lot more than that if they're in like the financial space, but it just depends. But $3 to $5. I mean, if you're doing retargeting, which is when people come to your site and they leave and then they click the banner, those clicks are less money. They could be a couple dollars, $1.50 to a couple dollars. But yeah, that's generally the range. It's not inexpensive, but I guess you're paying a premium for, like you said, that person's further along in the buying cycle. They know what they want and they're going to Google and they're searching. So they're closer to the finish line. So I suppose you pay a premium. Plus there's just a lot of advertisers in Google. So that increases the prices as well.
So you got any kind of insights about what has worked with some other industries where you got this person that's already got intent, they click the advert, how that's worked in the conversion part, by getting the information or converting that individual, especially the kind of service insurance, any kind of service insights, working with those type of service industries, because they're very similar in some ways to real estate, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right. They definitely are. I think
so you got any kind of insights how they turned that person who's clicked that into actual lead?
Well, so then we're speaking about really the website. So that comes down to having the proper call to actions. We rarely do anything with lead magnets, which I don't have a good reason as to why. We are typically with the clients, we're going right for the lead. They raise their hand, they're interested, they want to speak to someone. So in that case, we are making sure that their website has a proper call to action. So is the phone number on every page, other call to action, other buttons nice and clear and visible? Does the website load fast? That's crucial on many levels. And does the copy read well? Is the messaging clear? There's a lot that goes into it, but it's really just having a site that has strong call to actions and a clear message and loads fast. That's what we look for with our clients. Make sure that all those boxes are checked.
Right, and I think we agreed you were going to say some things about Facebook as well, weren't you?
Yeah. I think, so for, as mentioned, Jonathan, we have, so I belong to a networking group and meet weekly, and there's a realtor in the group that's wildly successful. And his big thing is, relationships, of course, and he's out there networking. He's in the tip, he's networking with the mortgage guy in the group, and he's big into that, but he's also really big into Facebook. And I've kind of studied what he's he's done a little bit because he's a really interesting guy, a lot of personality, but he just uses Facebook to really just as a relationship tool and just kind of expanding his reach. So for example, he'll post a lot of personal information, not personal, like, more like just getting to know him as a person. Like, here's my kids.
Yeah.
I just donate to this charity. Here's, whatever. So people, potential customers, clients, and get to know him as on a personal level. But then he'll also, like, when he sells a house, for example, he'll take a picture with the buyers, the sellers, and a lot of personality in the picture. He just kind of out of the box. He's very creative. And then he posts that on his Facebook page, and he gets a lot of shares from it, a lot of comments. He's in there commenting back. So he's almost used it as a way to, like, build a community around his business, and the results speak for themselves. He's the number one realtor in the county that I live in, which is an extremely competitive county for real estate.
What county do you live in?
Bergen County in New Jersey.
Okay. I'm curious. You've inspired my curiosity. It's pretty rare that you hear about a real estate like agent professional that has like a really good game going on terms of their social media. There's that I know of a handful, and I've talked to thousands. It's like most people are like, yeah, I'll post a picture of my cat from a year ago. It's like, no. I love the concept of what you just said. About posting funny pictures with people that just bought homes. Not funny pictures with personalities, what you said. So I don't know what that means.
A lot of personality. Just a lot of personality. Here you
go. Yeah. I think the key thing to take from this, folks, is that I had a chat with Ryan before we really started recording the show, and I said to him, it's finding your individual voice on social media, finding some unique that's linked to your personality type. Some people are very outgoing, probably a bit more outgoing than what you would be comfortable, and that's reflected on their social media, or it should be. Other people, you could be just general information about the community that you serve in general, just be an information resource, providing information, similar information on your website. That kind of tone might be more suitable for your personality type. But the more, getting a methodology and tools that can help you spread out your content and not ending up with a page or profile where there's hardly any regular new content on it. And thinking a little bit about this and how it can touch these people, because as Robert said, it's multiple touch are the game nowadays, 5, 7, 9 times touching those people before they can become a quality lead. What do you reckon about that, Ryan?
No, I think finding your voice is definitely good advice. I mean, his voice is very enthusiastic. It's and enthusiasm is always a good thing.
Some people are really out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the way that you would, and you could try and copy that, but I think it wouldn't. If you're not that type of personality, A, it wouldn't last very long, and B, it would come across as artificial, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be genuine. You're definitely right over there. So maybe there's just different varying degrees of personality and enthusiasm. But other stuff he does, I'm just thinking he'll get all his custom clients together. I don't know the specific details, but I know he gets the clients together, I think twice a year, and gives them, for example, like buyers. He'll get together all his buyers, and he'll hand them out like things about the local restaurants, things to know about. Here's like local contractors in the area. So it's like value added, I guess, offerings that he does that kind of helps. I guess I'm assuming this gets him a lot of referrals too, just over delivering like that.
Ryan, I'm going to give you a method to potentially pick up a new client for your business, because I've just looked and I can tell you for sure that that number one, this guy sounds amazing. His content sounds brilliant. But he has not optimized his Facebook page because I cannot find it using any commonly used Bergen County real estate search. So
Okay.
he's not coming up in Facebook, which it does have its own search mechanism, and he should be coming up. Kelly McDonald, and I know he's not coming up because it's all women. So it's not him, unless his wife is the one shouldering the responsibility of the advertising. It's Jolanta, Barbara, Kelly, and there's one guy way down the list named Michael Kowalski, but he's not doing anything interesting in terms of his Facebook page, so it can't be him either. So this guy, you should say, hey, we can optimize your Facebook for you and help you, because I know for sure that people are searching, because a guy I did a podcast with searched and couldn't find you.
yeah, good point. I'll go.
Well, that's really, but that's really interesting, actually, Robert, because he's probably utilising his personal profile a lot and having a smaller group, but high touch that group, where he might not be, because of the rules around Facebook, he's not investing that much on the Facebook business page. It could be that kind of setup, but he should still show up to some extent on search, right?
Yeah, right. You should.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure. I think it's a personal profile. I'm not honestly aware of like the search algorithm with Facebook profile versus business. But Robert, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I have been probably tracking more than most people do the internal changes that Facebook makes, and John is right. Like he made a comment like Facebook for business is one of those things where you scratch your chin and you go, do I even want to bother with this? Because they haven't made it very friendly unless you want to pay them.
Yeah.
However, I will say this, John, and it surprises even me. I have 3,000 plus followers that I built over a few years, but I do get every month, I get 6 or 7 new organic followers that I do nothing for. I have to assume that they're coming from search, for which, by the way, Ryan, I would not be able to get unless I'd established a Facebook page. Yeah. So I wouldn't say the value is high, but to say that there's no value I would say that there's some very small arguments for separating out the two.
Yeah.
Well, there is, because because your business page, is going to be looked up by possible clients. No activity, no regular activity on it looks terrible. Also, you should be looking at paid advertisement through Facebook. I feel, if you can get the resources to do it, it's just and as a real estate professional now, you've got to be able to look in the eye on people and say, I effectively market myself. I will be able to effectively market your biggest asset that you've got.
That's a great point, actually.
Yeah, I think if you can't market yourself, how effectively are you going to be able to market that very large asset that you're helping somebody sell for their maximum return on? I think we're going to wrap up the show now. We've covered a lot of areas. I've really enjoyed the discussion. And thanks, Ryan, for joining us. And
thank you, Ryan. It was really nice meeting you, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it.
And once just for you, Ryan, how can people contact you and find out more about you?
You can go to ballantine.com/mail right.
That's great. And we'll see you next week, folks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.